This is episode 7 of The Crawling World, Abominable Abomination's original full-cast audio drama. If you're joining us for the first time, a hearty welcome, weary pilgrim. I would humbly suggest you begin at episode 1. All set? Let us continue our tale.
If ever from the greatest height should fall the gentle rain that herald empire's end, there is but one among us who may call upon that instrument with which to fend off all the horrors that the night dost hold, and return long-lost allies to the fold. A bell will ring, a king will rise, and thus behold the dawn with blazing eyes.
They have left me alive, when all about me has been laid waste. There may yet be time to warn the nobles. No, you fool. You're delirious. Yet you will ride to warn them. Ride through fields of dust, of fruit that withers on the vine, past herds of distempered beasts producing sour milk, till you arrive at the feverishly beating heart. All that remains of a once proud realm. A heart soon to be seized with its final spasm. And all the while the nobles will continue to dine. And be dined on in turn.
The feasting hall's but a little further, Lord Commander. Our master's most anxious to hear of your success against the latest incursion. Our joy at your return runs deep. In our hearts, in our very marrow, we thrill to the glory reflect upon them.
Cease!
I beg your forgiveness. Now that we're away from the front, would you prefer to be addressed by your palace title of Praepositos? I will ensure this information is conveyed to the appropriate stewards.
Convey what you like. It will not alter the tidings I bear.
As you wish, Lord Commander. Our gracious ruler is within. You are not attired appropriately, but for a man of your standing, I'm sure the court will allow it.
Allow? Allow? Would that I had my gladius to hand. With one swift stroke, I would bring out your color. Our ruler wears the purple, does he not? The true purple is inside men's guts. Rip a man apart and leave him open to the elements. Then you'll see real nobility. I am sorry. I lost my temper. None of this will matter in the morning.
Hear that? That sounds like they're welcoming a general back from the front. Strange. I didn't see no mass arrivals this morning. No procession. There's usually a procession, what with all the wars they keep winning. Well, if they're not having a big celebration for the honour guard, at least it means I won't have to trip over drunken soldiers who've fallen asleep in the lettuces tomorrow morning.
Psst, oi! I heard from the lad who cleans the Aegeus that Madame Porphyr has been seen on more than one occasion exchanging scented notes. And more than notes, scented or otherwise, with the Augusta. Says he's seen other things, too.
Prove it.
You ask Urilla tonight. She's friends with the Madam's chambermaid. Ask her to find out what color her undergarments are. 'Cause I'll tell you now, they match her name. Most of the time, anyway.
Excuse me, I'm to fetch another barrel for the feast above.
Fella's that way. Wait, never seen you before. What happened to Ixander? Not from around here, are you?
He was called elsewhere. I'm not from here, no. I was a soldier. I accompanied the General Varvatus from the front, but I cannot fight anymore.
I can see why. Look at that eye. Bet that hurts something fierce.
Well, it doesn't hurt anymore. The eye, I mean.
You're one of us now, is it? Here to serve the pleasure of those fools above? Cheer up. We all serve at someone's pleasure in some form or other, but ours will be a greater reward in the end. I'm sure of it.
Oh, stow it with that eternal reward stuff. I know you've been talking to that madman who wants the town square. I don't buy it. Life's shit and then you die. Only difference being that them upstairs have a much softer time of it.
You're wrong, mate. Things will be different after the end. We suffer now in order for things to be better forever.
Well, as long as there are pretty lads and lasses to look at, and do more with besides, I don't care.
Yeah.
What about you, soldier? What do you reckon? You can't agree with these two reprobates. There's a heavenly reward, an eternal light waiting for us in the world beyond.
Yeah, well, quiet.
You've heard the good news too, right?
I have a light that burns within. The pain of anticipation is so great, it almost threatens to split this threadbare skin. It is coming. The fire that blazes within and without, sweeping away the dead wood of the old order and making it kindling for the inferno of the new. Our meagre sodality will be swept away, burned away. You think you're good, merely because you have nothing? That you labour in honest toil in contrast to our so-called masters who wallow in their decadence and depravity? You are virtuous almost by default. If you had the power to choose, would you choose this life? No. None of it will stand. Not your counterfeit goodness, nor their hollow luxury. All will be seared away by that which approacheth.
And what is that which approacheth? You talk a lot of shit for someone in the same position as us. Just 'cause you know some big words doesn't make you any better.
Shut your job.
Silence for crying out loud.
The all-consuming hordes. The enemies at the gate. The hour is later than you think or care to know.
Oh, piss off. Anyway, tell us more about what your mate said about Porphyr, because I heard she's been playing with a different kind of...
Where'd he go?
I beg your pardon, Steward. I had an argument with the butler, but I convinced him to relinquish a most rare vintage for this propitious occasion.
Very good. A taste first. One can never be too careful these days. Ah, a most excellent vintage. We will never see its like again. Now entering the presence of the Most High, ruler of all that flourishes under the arc of heaven, it pleases the court to welcome the great conqueror, destroyer of the fiend of the eastern gate, warrior of warriors, Praepositos and warlord, Varvatus.
Ah, The gallant general returns. No triumphal procession he. My Varvatus rides like the wind, mud and blood spattering his uniform, to deliver the news in person to his beloved master. Oh, how I have suffered in waiting for your return, dear Varvatus, for to have you gone from our side is an ache like no other. I would sooner see one of my own dear children drown than endure the pain of your absence one day more. So, tell us, mighty Varvatus, what of my legions, What of my cataphractarii, my scutatoi, my engines of war and devices of destruction? What news? They are dead. Crow meat. Worm food. You have wrung the last drops of life from your people, and still you grasp at the pallid, dried-up husk. The Empire is a fly-blown carcass, and soon even the flies will move on to riper remains. Hear me, gallant ladies and gentlemen of the court! Do you not see the disrespect with which our formerly cherished general treats this assembly? If I were not a more magnanimous being, I would have him reduced to his constituent parts and flung to the four corners of the earth, that the nameless things that gnaw on the edges of our glorious kingdom might have their way with him. I would wager even this lowly, barely human cupbearer at my elbow would speak with more grace and respect than this soon-to-be demoted general. I see you have lost an eye, little man. Were you once a soldier? A brave little soldier? What say you, sweet creature? I give you leave to speak. Amuse us with your half-formed mewling. Lord knows we could use some amusement, after this bore has spoiled our celebration.
Burn. The inheritors of this world bid you burn.
Guardsmen, report.
Your Highness, the outer walls have been breached. The enemy swarms through the city. We are lost. I have no word from the garrison, from our forces to the east.
Because there are no forces to the east. If propaganda were battalions of soldiers, I would have pushed back the enemy to the ends of the earth here now. It matters not. The bell. Varvatus, take me to the bell. As the Sibyl prophesied, it will be our salvation and the ruin of all those who oppose the Empire. As long as I yet live, there is hope. As the legend says,
The enemy comes. I give my life for my lord. Deus nobiscum!
to the bell! It is our only recourse. So this is it, eh? I'm not impressed. Silence, coward! You are in the presence of a relic from a far distant age. This bell was rung at the founding of our glorious empire, in an epoch when glorious streams of light from the gods above illuminated the eyes of humankind. And so, I call upon the power of the bell once again in our hour of need. Fend off all the horrors that the night dost hold, and return long-lost allies to the fold.
smells salt like needle. Seems this tunnel goes clear through the base of the mountain.
Was that it? You have been listening to Part 7 of The Crawling World. Tune in this time next week for the following installment of our story. Frying Pan. Fire. And so you don't miss a minute of our narrative, make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review or some feedback if you'd like. It is always hugely appreciated. So until next time, this is Thomas Barker from Abominable Abominations, signing off.